Hello and welcome to Distributed Systems and Blockchain in the News. My name is Thomas Bocek, and this week in the news we have the following nice tweet. It's about Cassandra, and Cassandra is a NoSQL database that can store data not with the SQL language but with their own Cassandra query language. It uses consistent hashing. We will also focus in the lecture on consistent hashing later on, especially when we talk about DHTs. So this is the tweet, and they showed that Cassandra is used at Apple, and they have thousands of clusters. They have hundreds of petabytes of data stored on them and over 300,000 nodes, which I think is very impressive. That seems that Apple is storing lots of data, and also they have million queries per second, which is quite interesting because that's actually a lot. And the second tweet about this is from Netflix, where they use 900 clusters, around 22,000 nodes. They have 12 petabytes of data, so less than Apple has, but also it's huge, and they store lots of data, and Apache Cassandra is suitable for storing this kind of volume. So this Apache Cassandra is one good example how you can scale horizontally. In the lecture, we have talked about the difference versus scaling vertically, so increasing CPU, increasing memory, and we also have talked about scaling horizontally, meaning adding nodes, and this is a good example, Apache Cassandra, how one can scale horizontally. Then the next article, it's also a tweet from this guy here. He's an artist. He did over 10,000 images, paintings. He sold them also via NFT. And what I found interesting is how many people actually wanted the painting to be sent to them. So they wanted to be in, to have this painting as a physical possession, and they also had an NFT, and some only wanted the NFT. So they said, okay, destroy the art, I just keep the NFT. And what I found astonishing is that roughly 51% they wanted to have this art in a physical form, and 49% they said no, destroy it, and I'll just keep the NFT. I thought this would be much more like 90% send me the physical goods, 10% I'll keep the NFT, but it's roughly 50-50, and I found this highly interesting. And he also destroyed it, so this is this picture here. So he destroys the images because people that bought it only want the NFT and not the original. Another interesting article is from the Defiant, which is this article here. It's about the Ethereum revenues, and they have a very nice graph about the fees, how much fees were collected in Ethereum. So in the last quarter of 2021, it was roughly 1 million US dollar, and today in quarter 3 of 2022 we are roughly at 100,000. So basically what they say is all in all in quarter 3 it's everything together around 200 million, and last year in Q4 it was 2 to 3 billion. This shows that the fees increased on Ethereum, which has several reasons. So the reason was that the Ethereum price dropped. This is calculated in US dollar, so if the ETH price drops, then you would have a lower number. Then we also saw layer 2 solutions becoming more popular, like Optimism. In the lecture we did this PoAP, this proof of attendance protocol, which was on the Gnosis chain. This is also a layer 2 solution. And also the change from proof of work to proof of stake for sure had an influence. And also other sites, for example OpenSea here, they introduced CPort, and with that they claim they can reduce the gas cost, so their transactions are much more gas efficient. So the previous gas was for creating for buying an NFT was 200,000 gas. Now with the new protocol it's 136,000, so they save lots of gas here, especially if many people are buying and selling NFTs. And they did that by handcrafting Solidity code, not only with Solidity but also with the assembly. So in Solidity you can also write your opcodes if you actually know what you're doing, and with that you can reduce the gas prices, also the gas fees, by 30% roughly. So hand optimized. Then the next link, it's not an article, but since we talk about smart contract programming languages in the lecture, I wanted just to mention that Solidity is by far the most popular. If we look at the total value locked in those chains, so behind Solidity there is the most value behind it, so roughly 60 billion, then followed by Viper. There we are already only at around 10% at 6 billion, and then we see Rust, which is for example used in Solana, and we also see other languages, but Solidity is one of the most popular one, and yeah, the most value is behind Solidity, or smart contracts that power the most value is Solidity. Then this article, this is more an opinion than an article, but nevertheless it's still relevant, because in the last lecture we did an NFT drop. So the students received a PoAP, proof of attendance protocol on the Gnosis chain. So for those who were there, who were attending the lecture, and here in this article they discuss about these kind of NFTs, that this can be actually also used as a CV. So currently you put all your achievements into LinkedIn, and in few or some do that, and later on you actually also could, if you gather or if you get those NFTs for those achievements, you can also get those NFTs and show those NFTs as your basically list of achievements. They also talk about SBTs, and SBTs are Soulbound tokens. They are like these PoAPs, but they're not transferable. So once in your wallet, it stays there, and then you cannot transfer it. These PoAPs, they can be transferred to other wallets. And these SBTs, they are described here on the Binance Academy site. Here they have a nice description of what it is, who came up with it, and so that was in 2022 in May. Vitalik Buterin and others, they came up with that and described what or how a Soulbound token could look like. Also very interesting idea also together with these PoAPs or SBTs is the Lens protocol. The Lens protocol is basically a social graph on the blockchain. I haven't looked too deep into that, but I think it's quite interesting to put in also the social graph into the blockchain, since if we look at collateral, everything in the blockchain world is over collateralized, and if we can combine this somehow with the social graph, then you could build up trust, and then instead of having it over collateralized, maybe one day we could have it also under collateralized. But if somebody agrees that he is being responsible based on the social graph, then this might actually work. But this is currently not in place, so everything in the blockchain is over collateralized, because in the DeFi world is there's no trust, so you cannot trust somebody that he will pay it back. So it needs to be in the contract. It needs to say in the contract that this guy actually, if something happens, will pay you back, and this can currently only happen if those assets are over collateralized. And a friendly reminder that the stablecoins USDT and USDC, they are actually they can be blocked, they can be freezed, which happened, and there was a nice graph showing how much USDTs already were frozen, and here I also have the graph here, which is basically on this side, saying saying how much here this side, how much USDTs, almost 450 million USDTs are actually banned and cannot be transferred anymore. And here's a nice list of those addresses. Here we see that one address amounts to roughly 25% of those 450 million US dollars, and this is, oh, I need to go a bit here, yeah, these 25%. So he or this address has actually a lot of value in USDT, but it's blacklisted, it's banned, so he cannot move it. So again, friendly reminder, USDT and USDC, they can be freezed or they can be frozen, but there are other alternatives, DAI, the liquidity US dollar, and other stable coins which are more decentralized.